Are you depending on the economy or your economy for the success of your idea for a product or a business? I'm going to be explaining what that means and why it should be important to you next. Hey, it's Don Skaggs again with Empowered Inventing, where we try to help you help other people by taking your great innovation, the right opportunity, mixing that with sound wisdom, so you, not someone else, know you can turn them into real things like products and businesses that make money. Now, so many times I'll come across inventors with what I would call a negative perspective or negative focus that can actually end up being a self-fulfilling prophecy for themselves. Now, the perfect example of this is, what is your view about the economy? And you are, but more than that, over not the economy, because really I want to know one or two things. Are you focusing on the economy? Because there's tons of bad news out there about the economy right now at the time of this. Sure, and that happens a lot, by the way, over the, when you've lived a few years, you kind of have seen this do this kind of thing. But here's the important part of this, though. Okay, you can hear all this negative stuff about the economy. Are you focusing on the economy, or are you focusing on your economy? That's an important question, because too many inventors I see will focus on doom scrolling, bad news about overall bad situations. If we focused our economies on our economies instead of the economy, you could instead, we could spend your energy on traction instead of the overall economy. Now, what do I mean by that? I'm going to break this down now. And by the way, before I do that, do you know how many businesses started, big flourishing businesses now, started and flourished in a bad economy? If you don't think it can happen, trust me, it does, and all you have to do is look at the record and look back through. Garage started operations many times got started, and sometimes started in a bad economy, because it's like, hey, when I started mine, I was having trouble finding a job, and I thought, you know what, I'm going to start my own business. That was part of the impetus of me bootstrapping the business that I ended up growing over 23 years and selling. And so I personally know that, yeah, that can be done in a bad economy. But you see, when you focus on the micro, not the macro, you know what I mean by that? You're focusing not on this big overall news thing you really can't control, but you're focusing on the micro. What can I do? What's in my economy that I can do in spite of everything else that's going on around me? If you focus on that micro and not on the macro, if you're more concerned about what you're doing on a personal level rather than this big overreaching problems that you hear in the news and everything else around the world, you can solve the big a lot of times by focusing on the small. What do I mean by that? There's a great proverb out there. It's, anxiety in your heart will weigh it down, but a good word will make it glad. I think that's a great proverb, because really, if you let anxiety in your heart from all this news, all this bad doom scrolling stuff, it will literally weigh you down and keep you from moving forward. And it's very, very true. You can wind up giving yourself a victim mentality by looking at all the large looming forces out there, and if you look at it long enough, it'll overwhelm you. It'll make you believe that you can't do anything. Now, one case in point, you know, it could be the economy, it could be politics, it could be laws that are out there, it could be patent laws. I've seen this, especially in recent years with the whole patent law thing. And while I applaud those people that are out there trying to help and protect independent inventors on an overall scale, you know, the Mr. Smiths go to Washington people, that I applaud their efforts, I really do. You know, and I would support their efforts. That being said, you as an independent inventor, you as a struggling entrepreneur, you as a startup, you can't rely on that to make the real difference between whether you're going to be successful or not. You really don't. Yeah, that's relying on the macro. And you know, we can always be successful in spite of laws, in spite of contracts, in spite of patents, in spite of any bad thing that could happen. Any kind of big macro issue. Oh, I can't do that because the economy's tanking. Oh, I can't do that because they're ruining the patent office. Oh, I can't do that because of this, that, or the other. What I'm saying is that those are big overreaching problems. You won't be able to solve those. So you'll think, well, I can't solve that. I guess I'll give up. No. You accomplish it. You accomplish that by you focusing on the micro. What can I do? You can always have agency in your own life. You can take responsibility for what you've set out to accomplish. That's focusing on the micro. And if you blame the world, if you blame outside forces for your failures, if you focus on other people, it will literally destroy the progress of your idea. I've seen it happen. I've watched it happen. I've listened to inventors who have told me and then predictably correctly watched it all unfold, as much as I jumped up and down and waved my arms and tried to warn them like the bridge was out. You solve the big problems by focusing on the small. Little drops of water, little grains of sand make the mighty ocean and the pleasant land. It's little things that are broken down. If you look at something as a big overwhelming problem, it's going to be a big overwhelming problem and you'll never be able to do anything about it. If you break it down into little pieces, in your little pieces, your economy, what's going to change your ROI, those are the things that are going to change the trajectory of the progress of your idea for a product or a business. Are you letting all this occupy your time? Or what are you letting occupy your time? The economy or your economy? Let me know in the comments. For more on focusing on taking those right steps for yourself, go to empoweredinventing.com. You can download Idea Steps. It's free. Just sign up at empoweredinventing.com. I'm Don Skaggs. This is Empowered Inventing TV. Like, subscribe, help us to build our tribe, and I will look to see you at the next meeting, workshop, online course, or on the next video.